Hi guys, hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to do another video on insurance, but sort of looking at it from the renter's side of things. I often get a lot of renters who tell me that they opted to decline all insurance because they have protection through their credit card or their own personal insurance coverage that they have on their personal vehicles. So I recently had a renter who told me that. Now, a lot of you guys ask why Turo requires both the host and the renter to have insurance. Well, of course, technically they don't require that. So if you're a host, you can opt to decline all coverage and you get to keep 90% of your earnings, but then you're pretty much on your own if there are any damages, and they just pretty much won't help you with anything that occurs during your trip. And then also on the renter side of thing, you can also opt in to decline all coverage if you feel good about the fact that you have your own coverage, and in the event that that renter doesn't have coverage, I really don't know, I think Turo goes after them personally. But for those of you that wonder why you should have insurance personally as a host on the platform or have insurance through Turo on the platform, it is for that reason. If the renter declines insurance, you still want to have coverage no matter what. So the two things are just totally separated regardless of what the renters have or don't have. It's a way for you to not have to worry about coverage on your end. And yeah, there's a lot of questions that arise about, well, what if the renter does have coverage and they pick the standard option, which is now the highest option that Turo provides? How come Turo just doesn't use their insurance? How come we don't get paid out fully? Honestly, I don't really know. That's just pretty much how it's set up. And I think that's how all rental car companies are. All rental car companies have their own insurance on their vehicles and then offer insurance to their guest as well. So same thing, they're insured on both ends. But anyway, so I started kind of digging deep into different credit cards and trying to figure out if credit card companies really do provide insurance when booking through applications like Turo. So I looked into two cards that I personally have. One is an American Express Gold card, because I've heard that their rental car insurance damage coverage is really great. And then I also have a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which is also known to have really amazing perks as well, including car rental insurance. So here's what I found out. Well, first I found out that you really have to read the fine print carefully, because that is where all the details are. And second, I found out that if you try to use those credit cards for coverage for a Turo type rental, you are not covered. And that is primarily because Turo is not considered a rental car company, nor does Turo themselves consider themselves a car rental company. And it actually says it on their website too. They are a peer-to-peer sharing company. So they are technically not a car rental company, and because they are technically not a car rental company, these credit cards do not cover you. So it's very important to know, and just on a general level, it's very important to know to read the fine print. So for example, let's take a look at the American Express Gold card. So American Express, just sort of naturally as a card member, you get car rental coverage, and the basic car rental coverage, I believe, covers up to $50,000. It doesn't cover trucks, vans, I think antique cars, like 9-passenger vans. So they have all these sort of stipulations, and they cover up to $50,000. They don't cover exotic cars. But then Amex also offers their premium car rental coverage, which you can opt into or enroll yourself in. It does require you to enroll, which doesn't cost you anything as a card member until you actually rent a car. And that price ranges from, I believe it was $12 to $25 for the duration of a rental. So even if the rental is 2 weeks long, or it costs you, $10,000 to rent a high-end car, you would only pay that fee one time. Now, if you do opt in for the Amex premium coverage, that covers up to $100,000 plus, they cover, I think it's like any damages or like medical expenses and things like that. So there's tons of details. I can post a link below if you want to read through it. Now, Chase Sapphire Reserve, their limit is up to $75,000. And I read two different links on Chase, so I don't know exactly what the correct thing is, but on one Chase Sapphire, through their website, I read that they don't cover exotics. On another one, I read that it covers up to $75,000 and it did not include exotics. But you will see in both of these card agreements for car rentals, it specifically says that they do not cover anything that is a rental that is not from a car rental company, including peer-to-peer car sharing. So do not rely on your credit cards when you are renting from companies like Turo or Get Around or Hire Car or any of these peer-to-peer sharing networks, because they are not considered car rental companies. Then that led me to kind of dig further into Turo's insurance that they offer the renters, because the sentiment out there is that when you go through exotic car rental companies or just regular car rental companies, even like a Hertz or an Enterprise, you're better off going through your credit card because they offer you more value through their insurance by booking on their cards than you can get from the actual car rental companies. Normally, these car rental companies have really high deductibles. Their insurance or their car rental insurance agreements are very detailed with lots of fine print, and more likely than not, whatever incident takes place is going to fall into one of their clause that would negate your insurance and it would hold you liable. That's from the research that I've done. That's the understanding that I've come to, which is why getting car rental insurance through credit cards, I think, has become so popular. So moving on to Turo's insurance on the renter's end of things. From what I read on their website, it actually sounds like Turo has a great policy on the renter side of things. And that's also likely because they know that most insurance companies or credit cards don't provide insurance to the renters. So that is for sure one thing that they've done right. Now, according to their website, and I'm reading this today, before, if you're a host, you know that renters had the option between premium coverage, which means you had no out-of-pocket deductible. Then you had the standard, which was a $500 out-of-pocket deductible. And then you had your basic, which is a $3,000 out-of-pocket deductible. And that is all that you are liable for. Now they have adjusted their business model based on their risk. And now they only offer two options, which is standard and basic. So a $500 or a $3,000 deductible. I have talked to some of my renters from the past who have been in accidents where the repairs were far greater than $3,000. And from my understanding, they have only had to pay their deductibles because they purchased the insurance through Turo. So this is actually a great value add for the renter. If you're a renter out there thinking about renting on Turo, I would highly recommend getting their insurance because it just gives you a peace of mind, especially that standard coverage. If you're renting out nice cars, it's a great option to go with. Now, I've also talked to other renters who have consulted their own personal car insurance agencies to see if Turo is covered. I've only come across one company that I was 100% able to confirm with, and I believe that it was Geico. Shoot, maybe it was Mercury. It was either Geico or Mercury. Sorry, I'm totally having a brain fart moment. But I remember my renter, he actually requested that for his insurance company to send him a copy of his binder, which specifically stated that renting a vehicle on Turo was covered. So it looks like the more traditional agencies might be catching on and are accepting Turo rentals as a car rental and providing coverage to their customers, which is also really great. And it's interesting because it even very clearly states it on Turo's website, which I will read for you guys. It says, credit card companies are highly unlikely to provide any coverage for a Turo trip, and some insurance companies may exclude coverage for car sharing. And it's because Turo is a car sharing company, not a car rental company, contrary to popular belief. So these are just some things to keep in mind, whether you're renting on Turo or from any other car rental company. You want to read the fine print on all the insurance and just make sure that you're covered, because the last thing you want to happen is to have an incident and get into an accident and find out that there was some fine print, some hidden clause that negates your insurance coverage, or you thought you had coverage but you really don't because you're not really renting from a car rental company like Turo. All right, guys, so that's kind of my rant on insurance. Also, another thing that I learned recently is that if you don't own a car and say you don't have insurance, you can actually take out a policy, which is very inexpensive, that covers you just for rentals for cars that you rent, especially for people who live in areas where cars are not necessary. So that's also something to look into if you are renting cars. All right, guys, I will post some links in the description below if you guys want to read more about Turo's coverage on the renter's side of things. They actually have it described pretty clearly on their website, which I like. And then I will also post the card member agreement for Amex as well as Chase Sapphire. If you guys have any of those cards, you can read into that a little bit further. All right, guys, other than that, that is it for me. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please do send me your questions and comments and help me get to 10,000 subscribers so that I can stop being a broken record and asking you guys so I can post more of my day-to-day routine on YouTube stories. Thanks for watching. As always, my name is Saimah. This is Saimah's Experience, and have an awesome rest of your guys' day. Bye, guys.